Hi everyone, my name is Angelica and this is Tacobout It Tuesday with This is Improv. Today we have a very special guest from Society Circus Players. Dash, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Dash. I'm an improviser from down here in Miami, from South Florida. I've been doing improv for, 2012, for almost 8 years now.
Wow.
And for almost 8 years, I've been doing improv. I've done improv all over the state of Florida with a bunch of different companies, a bunch of different locations, and we even teach workshops and stuff. This is exciting, and thank you for having. I played with This is Improv in one of our shows recently when quarantine started. That was fun to finally play with you guys.
We've talked about it individually. Yeah. The quarantine has been cool because we can actually talk and interact with people who live, because Florida is a big state. People don't realize.
Yeah, people don't realize that, yeah.
But it takes a while to drive back and forth. So we've actually been able to support each other, see each other perform virtually, where we wouldn't have been able to do that in person, or, just life things get in the way, and we've actually been able to play together, and it's so much fun to play with you guys. You guys have a great team.
Thank you. Oh yeah, you guys too. It's fun to find another team that plays just sort of on a similar wavelength as us.
Yeah, and we would have never known. We would have never known if it were not for this. Not the best circumstances, but still, we got lucky.
Yeah, we got there. And people don't realize, you guys are just in Broward County, and we're in Miami, and they're right there, maybe 30, 40 minutes away. But, driving on 995, you take your life into your own hands every time you do that. It's not just a 40-minute drive. It's a 40-minute, Fury Road.
Yeah, might as well be in the ocean, voyaging out into new waters. Nice to see our neighbors and talk to our neighbors.
Right, yeah. And I promised you already that as soon as quarantine's over and we start doing live shows again, I'm definitely going to go up on a Wednesday.
Thanks. And we're definitely going to see your show in person. Yeah. That's going to be insane. How did this all start for you?
Well, okay, so it's actually a fun story, and I tell it all the time because I just think it's such a great little coincidence. So, okay, let's start here. I was a professional wrestler, or am a professional wrestler going on 18 years now. We had fans who loved going to our wrestling shows, and they would go very often, so we'd get to know them or whatever. Sometimes when we go out to eat afterwards, the fans would join us, so we just get to know them and they follow us online or whatever. One of our fans, who was very loyal and came to every show, was debuting in her own improv group at the time. And I just, we all, a bunch of the boys and I got together and we were like, oh, hey, let's go support Zoe in her improv debut, since she's always supporting us. So a bunch of us went down to the Just a Funny Theater where they were performing, and she performed with her troupe, -4 months, and I saw it and I was like, I love this. I used to love Whose Line Is It Anyway? I didn't even know this existed, that this was a thing that you could go to. And they played the type of improv that I like, which is mostly short form, which is very audience friendly, and they had a long form in the middle, which was also very enjoyable and showed just a lot of talent. So I watched it and I was like, you know what, I've been doing wrestling for, I guess at that point it had been like 9 or so years. And I was like, it's sort of the same as wrestling, right? Like, you're still entertaining a crowd, you're still being funny or whatever. There's still a lot of psychology involved, but it's, I'm not killing myself, right? I don't have to jump off the top rope through a table to entertain anybody. So luckily, that same troupe was having auditions because one of their members was leaving 2 weeks. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to the auditions. I'm going to say yes to this. I'm going to go and do this. So I auditioned and I got in, having never done improv before, but just that, I guess it's the confidence from being able to perform in front of people helped. So I got in and I learned on a curb. They had a rule that once you joined, you couldn't perform on stage for like 2 months. Because you had to get to, improv. You have to have hive mind and whatever. So in that 2 months is where I mostly learned how to do stage improv. And then that's it. The rest is history. I was in that group for a little while. There were some unfortunate circumstances with the guy who owned that group. So he ended up leaving, and Allie and myself and a couple of other people formed Society Circus Players. And we've been running that we make 6 years this month.
Congratulations. That's incredible.
Thank you. Yeah. And you guys too, right? This is Improv is around their 6th year also.
Yeah. It's crazy how it flies by. And a summer project in the summer. When it's needed. Yeah. Most things happen in Florida, right?
Right. Yeah. Most things. Yeah. I think it's the heat. It just causes people to go, wacko and do things.
Yeah, exactly. Like improv. What's more wacko than improv?
There really isn't a lot.
No. So how did you come up with Society Circus? What's the history behind that?
So we had with the four of us who were, I guess, starting the company, came up with a list of names. And then we all voted on the names to narrow it down. And then we brought it to the rest of the group. And out of those names, we narrowed it down. And at the end, when we finally decided on between two names, nobody really liked either of those two names. So we just sat there. That's Minnie, by the way. So we just sat there and on my pillow. Great, thank you. Sitting around, we were thinking, and we're like, well, what do we do? Okay, we clown around. What's our big thing? Like, what's going to be our gimmick, and what's going to be our thing? And we're like, well, we're going to be very social. This is back when social media was just starting to become a thing. So we were like, okay, so let's, we're going to be social. So we're for society, and we're players, right? So society players, that we clown around, something like that, right? And we sort of just came up with that concept. The thing that sold it to us was that the Twitter, the Instagram, and the Facebook names were all available, and societycircusplayers.com was also available.
Yeah, that usually does it. Yeah. Like, this name sounds cool, but there are three other improv troupes that have the same name.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. At one point, we wanted to call ourselves the the Downright Citizens. No, because it's Upright Citizens Brigade. Yeah. So we were going to be the Downright Soldiers Platoon, I think it was. I don't remember. And it was like, no, why are we going to base our name off somebody else? That makes no sense. So,
I mean, that was the north side. You're the south side of things.
The second we came up with the name, we came up with our motto, which is, if life's a circus, we're the clowns. And that sort of sealed it for us. Oh. We were like, yep, that's perfect.
And I love your guys' marketing. Your guys' marketing is insane. And this is the business side of me coming forward. Yeah. But it's so much fun. Like, looking at all your merchandise and looking at all your, like, for example, your jersey is incredible. Yeah. I love it because
I'm a big marketing guy.
You have such a knack for bringing improv into other aspects of life, like whether it's a part of your attire that you wear every day, or if it's a drinking tumbler. you're literally drinking the life of improv.
Yeah, I'm a very, very big marketing guy. I deal with because it's sort of what I do for a living. I do the internal marketing for the West Campus of Miami-Dade College, and marketing has always been a hobby of mine. Like, I've never looked at a billboard and seen like, oh, okay, that's a billboard for cigarettes. Even when I was a kid, I would look at a billboard and be like, okay, why is that billboard in the location that it's in? And it's like, oh, because there's a school right there. That's why they're advertising cigarettes. So, like, why is this commercial playing at this time, but then I don't see it at night at 8 p.m. And it's because toy commercials get played during cartoons, because and I've always had that in my brain. So marketing has always been a hobby of mine. And then with my background in graphic design and video editing, it's really come in handy as far as the branding and making all the logos and all the design stuff. And then Allie is really great at just coming up with ideas of things to do and ways to get our name out there and ways to advertise us and different things to post about. And usually she'll have an idea and say, oh, hey, wouldn't it be great if we did this? And then I will go ahead and design it and put it and give it to her, and she'll do the wording because she words better than I do. By the way, I have
nice. Look at that. It's useful, everyone.
It really is.
Not only are these things pretty, they're useful, and we need them. And that's what I love too. You talking about Allie and talking about the way you guys came up with your name, how improv and you guys, all your stories that you've told me, incorporate the democracy, like having everyone have their input and everyone being heard, and everyone's voice matters really when it comes to your ensemble. And it's really cool to hear stories like that, to hear stories about your name, and to hear stories about how you guys complement each other. Like, watching your team work, it is awesome, and playing with your team is amazing, and actually listening to how you guys work things out is so cool because you guys complement each other and you know how to complement each other. And that's so improv. that is such the philosophy.
It really is
of improv, and you guys, you live it, and it's amazing.
Right. The beautiful thing about our group is that because our group is hand-picked, we mostly pick people based on how they fit in with our group. And it's whenever somebody leaves our group for whatever reason, whether they're moving or they want to try different things or whatever, we usually try to fill that spot with somebody else who fits that sort of same dynamic or can add a piece that wasn't there before, just so we all kind of complement each other. Every puzzle piece is different, but it all comes together to make one piece. So it's not like we teach a class and then the students join us regardless of where the students or what their ability or what their level is, right? So we have that advantage maybe over a larger theater that has classes. Ours is just handpicked. Like, we are doing this and we have these puzzle pieces, we're all coming together and we're making one artful piece together. And I think that's one of the things, when people have told us about our group, I really like you guys are always in sync, your energy together is amazing, right? And I love hearing those kind of compliments about our group.
It's true, and it's so cool to think about the higher level thinking, and you talk about that a lot in the actual performance. And I think that something fun, the secret with improv that no one talks about, is there's so much thought that goes into the performance, so much thought that goes into all the little pieces that make what people see, like the spontaneity. There's so much thought that goes into the spontaneity before you can bring it to the stage. So it's really cool. And I want to ask you, how do you incorporate improv into your life?
So many ways. Well, I use a lot of my improv skills at work when I teach a lot of public speaking seminars, and improv has fed into that directly. It's also a great way to do like icebreakers with people at these workshops. So we'll play a few little easy improv games with them. I've taught people at school how to do improv for some of their presentations. It's one of the things that helps me a lot is to listen, right? So improv teaches you to listen to your scene partner and to listen to what's going on in the scenes. And I think that's something that's missing a lot in today's general society. People don't listen to hear you, they listen to respond and interject their thing. But in improv, you stop and you actually listen, and then you add on to what they're saying. I can't say that it's helped me in my dating life because I don't really date that much, but I would like to think that when I go on dates, definitely helps with those conversations, because then it's not all about me and what I do for a living and the things that I enjoy. The listening helps me say, well, what do you love? What lights your fire? What gets you going? So it's like, the listening really helps. I think that's probably the most important thing.
Yeah, like if someone says that they like chocolate during a date and then you bring them a tricycle, they're obviously not going to like you anymore. So I think it's a great skill to have for dating. Yeah. I think when you do go on a date, when all this is over and you can listen to someone actively, you're going to be a catch. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. And what is your favorite improv game?
Okay, when I'm doing short form, my favorite improv game, I have to say, is all right, if we're talking strictly short form. All right, there's two, right? But they can be long forms or short forms. I love the Shakespeare ones. So like we used to do a thing called Shakespeare Scene, where on one side, two people would be having a conversation about some mundane activity, and on the other side, you would then switch it and have that same conversation in Shakespeare speak. I love that game. And I also love it. I used to hate it at first. I refused to do it when I first started doing improv, but now it's probably my favorite game ever. It's called Kick It, where you're doing a scene and then the caller yells "kick it," and you have to start rapping the rest of your thought.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I love that one because I love being the caller and beatboxing, but I also love being in the scene and doing the freestyle rap to whatever I was talking about. Those are probably, and I say those are my favorites because those are the two that I miss the most.
Yeah.
Right now. Yeah. Those are the two that I absolutely miss the most.
And it's cool that you say that you hated kick it, because there are so many improv games like that and so many exercises like that, and you hate them at first because it works a different part of your brain. You're like, I'm not used to this, I'm not going to be good at it. And then once you get into it and you do it enough, because improv is a muscle, and rehearsal helps, and perform and getting out there, taking those steps on stage really help. And then once you get into it, even knowing like, hey, I'll mess up, whatever, but it's a game. And then it's...
And you can trust your partner, right? Like, even if you mess up, your partner's going to save you.
Yeah.
So it's not, it's not a death sentence. It's...
No, absolutely not. Yeah, unless, you have an awful partner, and then you just get back at them later. And then it's a game. Yeah.
Right. I always say that improv is kind of like, when people ask me, like, how do you practice for improv? And I always call it practice and not rehearsal. Because to me, it's sort of like preparing for a baseball game or a football game or any other sport, right? You never know what's going to happen during a game, right? You don't know where a ball is going to get hit. You don't know where the wide receiver is going to cover you, right? You don't know what's going to happen during the game. All you can do is practice the skills you need in order to play the game as good as possible. So that's why, so to me, improv is like that. You practice and you practice and you practice and you practice to gain the skills in order to put on an entertaining show that is fun for you and it's fun for the audience and works and everything, comes together right. Because you never know what's going to happen in the show, but you can prepare for it.
Yeah. And it's funny that you say that, because so many athletes are actually really good at theater, and they're really good when they are put on the spot for improv, and you wonder why. And so many of the things that they learn on the field are so similar, and I'm sure that's why you were really interested in improv to begin with after wrestling, because you use so many of the same skills and rehearsal and practice. It's the same mentality. So that's a cool rationale behind it, because so many people, when you say it's practice, I'm going to practice, you're like,
right,
it's rehearsal. So that's
one of the main concepts in professional wrestling is protect your ring partner at all costs, right? So I'm never out to actually hurt them. Like, wrestling hurts, it does. There's no way to get slammed down on the ground.
I was hoping it wouldn't. I watched a documentary and I saw like men bleeding, and I was like, no, I thought it was supposed to be fake. Okay.
No, if you want to get a real insight into what it's like, watch The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke. Was the star of that movie. I think he won an award or was nominated for it, but that movie really goes deep into what it's like for us.
Okay.
But there's no way to fake being slammed down to the ground, right? It's going to hurt, but you're not going to be injured, right? And I think that's what the main premise is. It's like, so I'm in there with a guy whose job it is to pick me up and slam me down, but I have to trust him not to injure me. And the same goes the other way around. I've got to trust him not to injure me. So it's the same concept in improv, right? We're going to go out on stage together, and I have to trust that you're going to do your part of the scene, and you have to trust that I'm going to do my part of the scene, and that we're both going to make something that's going to be entertaining and fun. And that concept parallels wrestling perfectly.
Yeah.
Perfectly.
Yeah. And with different stakes.
Yeah.
Are usually. Yeah. But yeah, that's exactly it. All right. So my final question for you.
Sure.
We already know about the wrestling. We know you have a cat. Minnie, what is something that we couldn't tell about you by just looking at you?
So I'm a very crafty person. A lot of people don't know that just by looking at me. I do spray paint and graffiti art as my main medium. I've done a bunch of paintings and canvases that way. I'm currently doing a project where I take these little ceramic pineapples and paint them in my style, and I do one a month, and then I will drop them in random locations around Miami for people to find and take home if they find one. I usually drop clues on my Instagram and Facebook so people can follow me and figure that out. But yeah, so I've been doing that. I wanted to do a project where I could make a piece of art that somebody could just find and take home, and that was my plan for it. So this year it's pineapples. I've already prepared for next year. It's going to be little ceramic owls. So I do that.
So cute.
So yeah, art and crafting. I love making props. Like I just created my own sort of face mask.
I've seen it.
That looks like that looks like Sub-Zero's face mask. And one of my favorite things to watch is Adam Savage's One Day Builds, where he has this giant workshop and he will just pick a project and do it in one day. And it's just super entertaining. I had it on my background at work, but it's like, oh, okay, so I can use a Dremel tool. So I'm just very crafty with my hands. And my latest thing that I've picked up is crocheting. Ooh. So I've been crocheting. That's my latest one that I'm working on. And here's a wash towel that I made.
Very nice.
So yeah. So I don't know. I like working with my hands. I like figuring out little ways to do things, and I'm a jack of all trades, right? I feel like one of my main mentalities in life is that sure, anybody can pay money to go get in a plane and jump out and parachute, right? Mm-hmm. But you're attached to somebody. So is that living life, right? Yes, maybe. If to you it is, that's great. Mm-hmm. But to me, I think that living life is learning a new skill and getting really good at it and having that. Like, nobody's ever going to take that away from me. Nobody's ever going to take that I was a professional wrestler, that I did do it to the point where I got good and earned championships in different companies, right? Like, nobody's going to take that away from me. I just learned to crochet, right? Nobody's ever going to take that away from me. I'm always going to be an improviser. Nobody's ever, even if I don't do it for 10 years, I'm an improviser. So nobody's ever going to take that away from me. So to me, that's something that that's how I'm living my life. Is I'm going to learn a thing, I'm going to get really good at it, and to me, that's how I've enriched myself,
Yeah, you can't take away those skills, you can't take away those experiences. Right. And no one can have the same one that you have. It's totally individual,
right?
Unique.
Right, exactly. Really and it's like, great, you parachuted, you went bungee jumping. That's like, could I do that? Yeah, I can put away I can put away $100 and go skydiving once. I could put away $100 and go bungee jumping once. Like, great, that's nice. But I didn't really learn. Like, to me, it's more fun to learn how to be a bungee jumper. Like be the guy who ties your ankles and throws you off the thing. To me, that's more enriching than just jumping.
Yeah, because it's always more fun to have someone else's life in your hands.
Right.
I got it. Well, thank you so much, Dash, for joining us today on Tacobout It Tuesday.
No problem.
It's been so much fun to talk to you in this context. So thank you. Thank you so much.
No problem. Of course. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you thinking of me.
Of course. It's been so much fun being able to, get connected, actually. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So everyone...
Until we get to see each other in person.
In person, yeah. I can't wait. It's going to be so weird because we're used to seeing each other in a box and we're going to be full-figured people. What is that anymore?
It's like, what? Your body continues from here down? I didn't...
Oh, you have legs? Okay. Well, thank you, Dash. Thank you, everyone, for watching. This has been Tacobout It Tuesday with This is Improv. And thank you, Dash, for joining us. It's been a blast. After the video, down in our description, make sure to check out. We have some great information for you and ways to get involved in your community. Thank you for joining us. We're here every Tuesday with some amazing people. And this week, we've been lucky enough to have, once again, Dash. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.